let's read some unpopular opinion entries. Thanks for tuning in to Kazu Reads Reddit. First up, from Chancellor Reed, we very clearly live in one of the best times to be alive in human history. Yes, still. Alright, so this is controversial and highly debatable. Let's see what it says. Everyone constantly acts like we're on the verge of extinction and mass destruction, and what have you, but the reality is, all of the logic behind the long upward trend towards progress still stands. And we're still all, broadly speaking, lucky to be alive now instead of the vast majority of human history. Even aside from the more apocalyptic viewpoints, people love to talk about how unequal the modern world is. This is no doubt true, and massive progress must be made. But the idea that somehow we're less equal than feudal medieval societies or imperial empires of the past is just ridiculous. And that's before you account for the fact that huge percentages of those societies were literal slaves. You can be as pessimistic as you want, I guess. I personally see a bright future, even if recent events have dimmed it. But there are certain facts about the broad quality of life in the majority of the world today that just can't be denied. Alright, so before I share my thoughts, let's read some of the comments here. From IcePop4866, I am of the opinion that folk tend to believe they live in tumultuous times, and many that they live in the end times. I think it makes their lives seem bigger than perhaps they really are. The whole I was born, I grew up, went to school, got a job, had some sex, maybe some kids, grew old and died seems small to them. Too small. Okay. Well, of course, it's impossible to prove what this person is saying, but I would say it's a fair assertion. There might be a lot, or there could actually be a lot of people who are discontented with the daily routine of life from birth to death, and I don't mean to talk about that lightly, but there are really people who have that kind of mindset. Of course, not everyone's like that, because based on our own human individual experiences, we may have a different opinion or perspective about the reality of life and whether this actually is the worst or the best times in human history. Okay, let's have a look at the next comment. We are in the best time, but I think it's just disappointing because I know we could also be doing better. But change takes time. Just feels like we're not heading in the right direction. Okay, this is a more balanced and fair take. When you think about it, it actually might be true that we could be living in the best time, but yeah, we're not doing everything we can to solve the world's problems or people's problems, right? To help each other. And he is also right in saying that change takes time. Too bad he wasn't able to detail what he meant by saying feels like we're not heading in the right direction. There are plenty of issues in the world right now, so if you have any guesses or any thoughts about the matter, feel free to share your comments right below. In the meantime, I'll be moving on to the next comment. From Feisty Development 59, I will say both viewpoints can be held simultaneously. Okay, it is in fact the best time to be alive, and that situation is extremely precarious. Okay, so if you think about it, there might be, or there could be really a possibility that we are living in the best time, but there's a paradox to it that it doesn't really feel like it because of the difficulties of what's happening in the world. Now, I would like to share my own opinions about this because just imagine the prices of goods. There's so much inflation all around the world, global warming, and including the disruption or disruptive revolution of AI into technology. So, yeah, I would say it's a really good time that we're alive right now because we didn't experience slavery and all the injustices that were done before in the past when you were just a normal or ordinary citizen, but we do have new problems. Sometimes it might be impossible to compare one generation to another or one era to another, but Overall, I would say that this post or this unpopular opinion has fair takes that we could be grateful or we could be thankful that we do have some improvements or changes that are much better compared to the previous era. Okay, so that's it for me, and I will be moving on to the next unpopular opinion. From Far Camera 5766, adulthood is one of the most overhyped parts of life. Okay, so this is another controversial unpopular opinion. Everyone tells you that growing up is when life truly begins, but I think a lot of people underestimate how good childhood actually was. As a kid, you had fewer responsibilities, more imagination, more free time, and you could enjoy simple things without constantly worrying about money, career, bills, or the future. Adult life has its benefits, like freedom and independence, but it also comes with a lot of stress that nobody really prepares you for. I think we sometimes romanticize adulthood while forgetting that childhood had a lot of things people spend their entire lives trying to get back. Okay, so let me share my own thoughts after we read the comments. So let's go through our first comment. Okay, here's our first one. I miss the lack of responsibility. I do not miss living by someone else's rules. Okay, so our first comment disagrees with unpopular opinion. But yeah, the lack of responsibility as a kid, if you were well taken care of, that was actually amazing, right? Okay, but not everyone has the same opportunities. Okay, let's see what the next comment says. From B-Boy Mixer, this opinion assumes everyone's childhood goes well. And this is what I was actually thinking earlier, that not everyone has that quality childhood life, right? Why don't we see the next comment? From the Sneaky Walrus, and this is gonna be a long one, I think it's mostly the opposite. Growing up, I saw the freedom that came from being an adult, and I wanted it badly. No parents watching my every move, no bedtime, drive wherever I want, eat whatever I want, buy whatever I want. All the adults around me always said to cherish my childhood and lack of responsibilities. Children long to be adults, adults long to be children. The reality is that we always just want what we can't have. Well, until you've grown up, you could have both, right? You could have been a kid, enjoyed your life as a child, and you could also have enjoyed your life as an adult, okay? But again, not everyone has the same kind of opportunities in life. So this unpopular opinion, I would say, is truly unpopular because this is something you can personally speak about if you have experienced it, because there are tons of factors about it, like the kind of parents you had, the kind of friends you had when you were a kid, even your life as an adult. And I can also say that the original poster is romanticizing childhood, right? So, if you think this really belongs in the unpopular opinion section, or you think this should be, okay, an acceptable opinion, then let us know down in the comments and I'll move on to the next unpopular opinion. From Blue Starfish 80, extroverts often have worse social skills than introverts. Okay, so another controversial take. Okay, let's see what this story is about. I find that extroverts tend to make conversations revolve around themselves more often than introverts do, whether it's in a group or one-on-one. They often interrupt people, talk over them, or steer the conversation back to themselves without even realizing they're doing it. It's something I notice much more in group settings where quieter people can easily get pushed into the background. In my opinion, a lot of extroverts struggle to let someone else have the spotlight for very long. Ironically, they're often the first to complain if they feel ignored or left out, while introverts usually just deal with it quietly. I've only come across a handful of extroverted people who are genuinely self-aware and make an effort to include everyone in a conversation. The ones who do stand out because they'll notice when someone hasn't had a chance to speak, ask for their opinion, and make sure nobody feels left out. I think introverts are generally more self-aware because they spend more time reflecting on themselves and thinking about how their words and actions affect other people. Since many introverts know what it feels like to be interrupted, talked over, or excluded, they often make more of an effort to listen, ask questions, and make sure everyone gets a chance to speak. Extroverts, on the other hand, often seem so focused on talking and being around people that they don't spend as much time reflecting on themselves. Because of that, I think they can sometimes lack self-awareness compared to the average introvert or ambivert. Extroverts often do well in leadership roles, networking, and public speaking. But when it comes to listening, having meaningful conversations, and making other people feel heard, I think introverts and ambiverts generally do a better job. Okay, let's have a look at the comments. While you draw some solid points here, I'm going to take it further and say that we overuse and misuse the terms extrovert and introvert tremendously. It's not that easy to place people in one box or the other. And I agree, okay? So, as the original poster has mentioned, he does know a few or a handful of extroverted people who are not self-centered and have self-awareness, okay? More on the next comment. From Arthur the Train Dane, I think you're confusing extroverts with narcissists. Okay, so based on the description of the OP, that's also the idea that I had in mind while reading this, that he is actually talking about narcissists. Let me just say that there are extroverted narcissists and there are introverted narcissists. Okay, there are people who like to keep on talking without minding other people and just focusing on themselves. But at the same time, there are also introverted narcissists who focus on themselves without minding or listening genuinely to other people and just pretending that they are. Sometimes they even use their own silence as a passive-aggressive manipulation tactic in order to control other people. Okay? And I also know some extroverts who are genuinely sweet and caring, and it's unfair to box or label every one of them as the OP has described. So let us know in the comments down below if you agree with this unpopular opinion or not, and let us know if the extroverts you know in your life are actually the ones who are narcissistic or the ones who are genuinely caring towards others. And now we're moving on to the next unpopular opinion, and I hope that you are enjoying the show. From Confident Pattern 344, staying married after falling out of love isn't cowardice. Okay, so this one's good as well. Let's see what this is about. People love to say, if you don't love your spouse anymore, leave. Or the only reason people stay is because they are too afraid to be alone. I think that's an oversimplification. You can genuinely fall out of romantic love and still realize that you're happier staying married than getting divorced. Happiness isn't just about being in love. It's seeing your kids every day, having breakfast together in the backyard, watching TV next to someone, sharing the small moments of everyday life, and having someone to talk to at the end of the day. That isn't the Hollywood or Hallmark version of love, but it can still be a good life. If the goal is to be happy, rather than to chase a particular feeling forever, then I don't think there's anything cowardly about staying in a marriage after the romantic love is gone, as long as both people are treated with honesty, respect, and kindness. So, that was a good read. Let's see what the comments are saying. 99.9% of relationships end up this way. The passion dies, but as long as the compassion is nice, it's okay. Me and my partner, we aren't intimate anymore, but we complement each other so well and we have lots of laughs. Alright, that's a very good experience. Let's have a look at the next comment. From Slap-Jesse, probably unpopular. I've met a lot of people missing intimacy and romance in their lives, and they seemed calloused and miserable. But they have a really big camper, I guess. Okay, so this is a point that goes against what the OP posted, and let's read the next one. Attraction is chemical slash hormonal. Love is a constant choice. That was very good. People make the mistake in thinking that it's all out of our hands. It's not. Chemicals change, appearances change, that's true. We either mature emotionally or stay stuck as kids looking for the next high. Okay, and I definitely agree with this one. I think marriage is really a serious thing that you should consider before you actually commit to it or commit with your partner. Because if you're just feeling the high or the emotions without considering the long term or the longevity of being together with a person, then you guys just won't last. And it's going to affect your kids in the future as well if you divorce. And I would say that people who have been married for an incredibly long time, even until death, fulfilling their vows, right? It's true that the feelings change, appearances change, the hormones, they really change and depreciate inside their bodies. And at the same time, it's our commitment to our children as well to stick together because that's the best for them. But I would say there are also caveats to this, like for example, your partner is unfaithful to you, right? But I would also say that there are caveats to this because if your partner is, for example, unfaithful, and it's just going to add a lot of temptation towards you to make you commit the same thing, get revenge, or do something bad. And in that case, I would say that it could be better that you simply separate with your partner, and that could even be for the benefit of the kids as well. So I like the post, to be honest, because marriage has been taken advantage of and it has been misused a lot of times by young couples or young people who simply have the high but didn't really know or didn't really understand the virtue that it brings to the table in the long term, since they're building a family together, and divorce affects the kids a lot. But again, there are caveats to this, okay? So, let us know in the comments if you agree with this unpopular opinion or if you disagree. All right? We're moving on to the next one. From Annual Audience 2569, we should clap at the end of movies. Let's see what this is about. Clapping is used to show appreciation at the end of a movie in the cinema. I want to be able to share my feelings with others I share this experience with. I want to know if I love the movie that others felt the same way or not. After an emotional experience, seeing that many others felt the same would really warm my heart. The thought of just standing up and clap for half a minute with 100 other people after a really epic movie is already giving me chills. But we don't do that because it's cringe? Come on. Okay, so let's see what the other people on Reddit are saying about this unpopular opinion. Here's from Only Logic. Show appreciation to who? The cast and the director can't see you or hear you. Okay? Here's the next one. I mean, if you want to stand up and clap, go for it. I'm just going to politely clean up any trash, grab my stuff, and make for the exit. Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong, technically speaking, if you clap at the movie at the end because you appreciate or love the show. But I think I would just do the same thing that this guy will do. Grab my trash and go. From Tulpa Pal, I work at the theater where I'm in the auditorium the whole time, and I find that the only time people clap, it's because one person, usually a child, started it and they all follow. So start clapping. Okay. As mentioned, there is definitely nothing wrong in clapping in the theater, right? Yeah, if that's how you really feel, if you really feel wonderful about the movie, yeah, go for it. You might start a wave or a culture of clapping in the theaters just because you appreciate the movie. And who knows, it might be a good thing, right? So, let us know in the comments if you're also willing to clap in the theater after the movies are over. And share with us if you have other ideas that you'd like to do when you're watching a movie in the theaters. Honestly, just a quick one. To be fair, I have seen people clap during the movies, especially when the movie is really or truly excellent, okay? Anyway, if you love the videos, you know what to do. And thank you, and I'll be seeing you on the next episode.